Hello and welcome here. In this video I will discuss 5 things from the latest episode that have significant importance. The first is that House of the Dragon naturally takes place before Game of Thrones and that Dany's braids in the HBO original series were associated with Dothraki, not Targaryen culture. And the new prequel series appears to be borrowing certain ideas from the original show. As Rhaenyra becomes a little older between episodes, her hairstyles include more intricate braids. This progression of her braids appears to correspond with the wins Rhaenyra is achieving for herself, just like it did with Dany in Game of Thrones. In this episode, Rhaenyra successfully shields her kids from learning the truth about their paternity, helps Laenor and his friend Qarl flee to Essos, and marries Daemon in a move that will further fortify their family's defenses. Number 2. Laena is being transported to the Endless Seas, the kingdom of the Merlin King according to Vaemond, who has the appearance of a priest. The people who came from the countries around the Narrow Sea worship a deity called the Merlin King, in contrast to the Greyjoys in Game of Thrones who worship the drowned god at the Iron Islands. The Valyrian's driftwood throne, which may be seen in the Great Hall of High Tide Castle, is supposed to have been a gift from the Merlin King according to George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood novel. The driftwood throne is now held by Lord Corlys Velaryon, and in the order of succession it will pass to Lucerys, Rhaenyra's second child, who is more often known as Luke. In her one-on-one conversation with Luke in the Sunday episode, Corlys brought up the inheritance of this position of authority and everything that goes along with it. Number 3. The episode showed the largest gathering of dragons so far. It included Caraxes of Daemon, Syrax of Rhaenyra, Seasmoke of Laenor, Meleys of Rhaenys, Sunfire of Aegon, Moondancer of Baela, or maybe Dreamfire of Helaena. While in the latest episode we witnessed young Aemon Targaryen claiming Rhaegar as his own. Number 4. 11-year-old Helaena was playing with a collection of bugs and spoke in cryptic phrases when we first met her in episode 6. Helaena foretold what it would cost her brother Aemond as she listened his desire for a dragon with Alicent. Helaena stated in episode 6 that he will have to close an eye. This episode demonstrates how Aemond was able to claim Rhaegar before Laena's daughter Baela. However, when Aemond was challenged by Baela, Rhaena, Jace, and Luke, the young Targaryen prince intensified the conflict to the point that little Luke cut his eye. Aemond concluded by telling Alicent that the measures used to achieve their goals were justified and I may have lost an eye, but I gained a dragon. Number 5. In Fire and Blood, Laenor's death was stated as follows. Esser Laenor Velaryon, husband to the Princess Rhaenyra and the putative father of her children, was slain whilst attending a fair in Spicetown, stabbed to death by his friend and companion Esser Qarl Corey. The two men had been quarreling loudly before blades were drawn. Merchants at the fair told Lord Velaryon when he came to collect his son's body. Corey had fled by then, wounding several men who tried to hinder him. Some claimed a ship had been waiting for him offshore. He was never seen again. Despite the fact that Fire and Blood mentions that some people thought Daemon was responsible for the attack, the murder is essentially regarded in history as a cold case of murder. We are more likely to support Rhaenyra if the TV audience is given a broader perspective of the events and is allowed to cheer for Laenor's escape to Essos. Laenor may have a shot at leading a happy life if she and Qarl are able to find refuge among Daemon's ties in Pentos or somewhere else. He won't have to conceal himself as much, and the stress of ruling a country on the verge of war won't weigh him down. Naturally, the episode takes its time convincing you that Rhaenyra planned to have Laenor killed in order to further her own political objectives. This would be a cold and cruel scheme that would be consistent with other heinous deeds individuals have committed in House of the Dragon thus far.